You ever come across an idea that's so focused, so intense, it's basically a whole worldview? Well, we're about to dive into a piece of writing that does exactly that. It's from the opening of Charles Dickens' novel, Hard Times, and it manages to build this incredibly rigid philosophy right from the very first word. Let's get into it. Right away, the text just grabs you. There's no gentle introduction, no easing you in. It starts with a demand, facts. This isn't just an opening line, it's a mission statement. It's pretty much a declaration of war on anything that you can't measure or count. And man, does it set the tone for everything that follows. So, what is this philosophy exactly? The text itself calls it the principle of facts. It's an educational model that is just as simple as it is strict, and it really grew out of a critique of the kind of thinking that was common during the industrial era. And just listen to how absolute this statement is. It's not just saying, hey, facts are important. No, it's saying facts alone are what's needed. In this worldview, everything else, things like creativity, emotion, wonder, is basically worthless. This whole philosophy treats education like a very specific, very aggressive kind of gardening. The only thing worth planting is facts. Anything else that might pop up, imagination, curiosity, feelings, that stuff isn't just ignored, it's treated like a weed that you have to violently rip out of the ground. And okay, what's the reason for a system this rigid? Well, it all comes down to pure utility. The argument is that only facts can truly prepare these children for the real world. Nothing else will ever be of any service to them. It's just a brutally narrow definition of what it means to be a successful human being. A philosophy is just an abstract idea until you see someone who actually lives it. And this text gives us the perfect example, a man who is literally made of facts. His entire physical being is just an extension of his own rigid beliefs. So first, just picture the setting. The schoolroom is described as a vault, a space with no color, no warmth, no inspiration whatsoever. It is the absolute perfect container for an education system that only cares about cold, hard data. And then we have the man himself. The description is obsessed with geometry. His finger, his forehead, his coat, his shoulders. Everything is square. He's literally built out of hard lines and right angles. This is a man with absolutely no soft edges. And it's not just that he looks rigid. Every single detail is meant to reinforce his philosophy. Even his neckcloth is tied so tightly it's described as a stubborn fact. For this man, his appearance and his ideology are completely 100% inseparable. Okay, so if that's the teacher and that's the philosophy, what does that mean for the students? How does a system like this see the children it's supposed to be teaching? Well, it sees them as vessels, just waiting to be filled up. They're called little vessels. And just think for a second about what that word implies. A vessel is a container. It's passive. It's empty. It doesn't have a will or an identity of its own. Its only real purpose is to be filled with something else from the outside. And this is exactly what that process looks like. The keyword here is poured. Education isn't a conversation. It's not a process of discovery. It's a forceful, almost mechanical act of just filling these empty kids with, as the text puts it, imperial gallons of facts until they are so full there's no room left for anything else. So why are we talking about this? Why does this piece of writing from the 19th century, this powerful critique of a certain kind of thinking, still hit so hard today? I think it's because it taps into this huge, timeless debate about what learning is even for. The text really forces us to ask ourselves a pretty fundamental question. What is the point of education? Is it just to fill heads with information, to create what the speaker calls reasoning animals? Or is it to cultivate something more? Something truly human. And this slide really lays out the two sides of the coin, doesn't it? On one side, you have this world of pure fact. It's rigid, it's logical, you can measure everything. And on the other side, you have everything that world wants to destroy: imagination, creativity, and real critical thinking. The text makes us wonder, what do we actually lose when we choose one of these over the other? Which really just leaves us with one final question to chew on. Look, facts are absolutely essential. They're the building blocks for how we understand the world. But this text is a really powerful warning. It forces us to ask, at what point does a foundation of facts, if you build it too high and with no windows, stop being a foundation and start being a cage?